Here in the studio with us this morning is Steve Daniels of Leadership Management International. Now, LMI Canada is an organization that helps leaders and other organizations realize more of their potential. Steve, it's a real pleasure to have you in the studio with me this morning.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So, Steve, what is Leadership Management International all about?
We are actually a coaching company. A lot of people get confused between coaching, training, and consulting. Consulting is very process-driven, so it's business side of things. Training is more short-term, good for information transfer, but we've all been to workshops where we get really pumped up and then we get back to the office on Monday. Suddenly, a lot of it is lost. So what we do at Leadership Management International is we focus on coaching. So I work with my clients over long-term, 6 to 24-month periods of time, depending on what the need is, and we have several different streamlined programs that we take people through, from the foundations of leadership through communication, from sales development to strategic planning, motivating their teams, very executive level development, right to the front line of every individual in an organization. Everyone is a leader. As John Maxwell says, leadership is defined as influence. So if you are a person, you are a leader.
That's great. So, Steve, how exactly did you get involved with LMI Canada?
That's actually a fun story. We all grow up in a world where our parents say you could do anything that you put your mind to, but most of them don't believe that. So you grow up in a world thinking when you're a kid, and then when you get to be an adult, you settle into whatever's comfortable. For me, when I started as a client with LMI, it was the first time in my life I realized my parents were actually right, even though they didn't believe it. Within a 2-week period of time, I fell in love with LMI, realized that this is really where my passion is. 2 weeks after that, I quit my job that I was very successful in and started a practice. And that was about 8 years ago. It was a very, very risky decision, but it was the best decision I've ever made. And I literally have the best job in the world now.
I feel I can relate. So, Steve, New Year's resolution time again. What's it all about for New Year's resolutions? It really makes people want to try every year.
Every single year, it's a great question. People like to get started again. They want a new beginning. Say, you know what, this year is going to be different than last year. The problem is that next year never comes, tomorrow never comes. They always put it off to a specific date. Best thing you can do is to decide what is it that you want to accomplish and start today. Chris Pratt is one of my favorite actors, and he actually said the next 6 months are going to happen anyway. So why not be where you want to be 6 months from now instead of where you are? 6 months is such a small period of time in a person's entire lifespan, so why not focus today, work your butt off, get where you want to go, and be happy with what you've been able to accomplish. It's very difficult to follow somebody that has no idea where they're heading. A great leader always has a plan as to where am I going to be 6 months from now, where am I going to be a year from now, 5 years, 10 years from now. Clearly defined goals is absolutely essential foundation for great leadership.
That's great. So we've got a contest going on here on the K-Rise this week. We're awarding a big prize of a profile evaluation valued at $500. What exactly comes with that $500 evaluation people will be getting?
We actually set them up with an online profile. They go through it. Takes them about 45 minutes. And then the actual value comes from when the results come back and processed. I will sit down with that person for anywhere between 60 and 90 minutes, depending on how long it's going to take, and really help them evaluate what steps that they can take from this point forward to make 2016 and beyond their most successful yet. So if they really want to make what they call New Year's resolutions take place, this profile will help them identify exactly what they should be working on, what are some of the things that they can be doing to work on those areas, so to help them become the leader that they're really capable of becoming in the first place.
That's great. So we want you to be inspired by Leadership Management International. You can head to K94.5.ca and nominate someone who's inspired you to be the best that you can be. Starting later this morning, Tosh and I are going to be reading one inspiring nomination story daily. And on Friday, we're going to be awarding the big prize of a profile evaluation, $500 value, courtesy of Steve here with Leadership Management International. I really appreciate you stopping in the studio and having a nice chat with me.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. It's an honor and a privilege.